What is going on, guys? I just finished playing the marathon sort of server slam that they released, sort of like a demo, and I wanted to kind of just pass by, give my first impressions of it, because it's a game that I've sort of been following, honestly not too heavily. I just really released a video that was talking a little bit about how it kind of feels like it just has never been coming out, and then boom, like a day later I found that there was a demo out, and I decided that I'd go and try it today. I maybe played about 4 matches. It was really short-lived. I kind of need to go to bed, get ready for school tomorrow. And when it comes to the game, I typically will go over gameplay, sort of the way that the game feels, and then I will do a special thing for this game and kind of talk a little bit about its art style, because that seems to be one of the main selling points for the game that people are referencing consistently, and I will give it credit. It is something to talk about. And then on top of that, sort of just kind of explain how I feel about it, maybe if I feel like it'll have longevity or anything like that. But when it comes to the art style, I found it intriguing and interesting. I have not seen a game necessarily do something like it up to this point. You see there's a lot of program language and at the same time bio, I want to say science involved. I'm seeing moths and sort of like worm things making people. It was fucking confusing as shit, but I'd say like it reminisced a lot of Ghost in the Shell's sort of I would say graphics and or artwork that it implements, in sort of more retro feature, not even retro, but futuristic art style that, I mean, I like how unique it is, and I think that it's really pretty, and that makes it very pleasing to look at when playing the game. But with that being said, I did find it a little bit hard to, I guess, fully understand what I was looking at a lot of the time, and I think it's great from a world building perspective. It is intriguing and it is pretty to look at and to interact with things. Kind of telling what an extraction zone is was difficult for me. We actually, during the game, we kept on running into, they were disappearing every single time we arrived at them, and that kind of fucked us over a couple times. But I mean, it was cool enough, and I think the colors itself, the color palette's phenomenal. There's just a lot of neons, but neons in a way that I think of a little bit Splatoon, just from the color and how, I guess, vast the color scheme is and what they're willing to do and work with, especially with a game that's a shooter. Typically, I've found shooters are becoming more colorful, but even then, I've never seen one to this amount of color in sort of that's not in a cartoonish art style. The character designs are alright. I found it interesting. I kept on like sort of noticing like very similar patterns to Destiny, and how you will sprint with a pistol, for example, and the pistol will go up to your side and it'll sort of like rock, and it's very similar, if not probably the same animations from that game. And I mean, I don't have a problem with that. It does have a similar, I mean, that feel of Destiny. Destiny has a pretty decent feel, I would say. This game though feels a little bit more slippery. Like I used there's this jetpack boost you can do where you jump and then it'll boost you. And I kept on missing windows and stuff with it, and what do you call it? When you climb up something, it was a little bit hard to pull off pretty consistently, but then again, I'm extremely new to the game and I'm kind of just testing it out. So I'll see if it does get better for myself and sort of feels a little bit less slippery. And then we got into a couple of encounters or battles, combat, whatever you'd like to call it, against actual people. But I'll start with the AI. The AI was all right. I would say it is a little bit difficult. I do find it to be just sort of like, I think of like Halo Elites, that sort of AI style where it's just kind of like dudes walking in at you, and they're like, they kind of work together to some degree, and you see that there's ones that turn invisible and ones that have shields, and they are something that can kill you. It's not quite like Arc Raiders where you might be stressed out by every single one of them necessarily, and kind of like getting overwhelmed. You will get overwhelmed pretty quickly, but I guess my problem with it is it just kind of feels like you're fighting other players with the AI specifically, and I think that's a part that Arc Raiders is doing well, is that AI is completely different from the players. It's robots, flying robots, and instead with the Marathon, the AI are just these robots that look like humans that act like the humans in the game. And I mean, I did encounter turrets, and there were those floating circular squid brainiac things that would, I guess, like lash at you, and those were all right. I still would not put them up there as groundbreaking though in the AI situations or scenarios. But then when it came to the combat, we got into one or two encounters with teams. I will say there was a lot less teams, it felt like, but then again, I guess people are probably figuring it out. Just not a lot of that was happening. We kind of ran into a team and steamrolled them pretty quickly, and like the time to kill was all right. I'd say it's a little bit. I wouldn't say fast. It feels slow, which is fine because it's definitely not a fast-paced game, and I can appreciate that. I think that there should be a couple more slower-paced shooter games because we've gotten into such high-octane speed era of shooters that I mean not everything needs to be Apex, not everything needs to be fucking Call of Duty and just the sort of the esports vibe. I like dumbing it down, making it a little bit simpler because there's still room to grow and have a barrier to entry and sort of just a way to evolve your skills in the game itself. But the guns, they feel pretty good. I do like the design of them, and to shoot them, it feels fantastic. When you hit a target, and it's I don't think it's necessarily. I think it's hit scan a little bit. We're definitely probably erring on the line of hit scan a lot more than not. It's fun. You can hit people, and it does feel like you're doing damage. It'll light up a lot of things. There's a lot of indicators to it when you're doing damage. The AI will take a lot of damage, specific ones with shields and stuff. And I mean, I just did not fight enough people though to be able to say too much about the combat in the game. I'm sure that if you start jetting around with your jetpack, and I will say that part was interesting. You don't have a ton of fuel in your sprint slash jetpack slash slide uh, bar. It's very similar to Call of Duty's Black Ops 3's, but I mean, maybe if you really do get good with that, and I'm sure there's probably equipment, and I did not get in enough, and I'll talk about this in a little bit when it comes to like what you can put on your character and stuff. I've not gone into that a ton, but I'm sure that, or it'd be interesting if they do have things that can do that for you. But overall, that gameplay felt good. Looting was, I mean, I could not figure out if there were keybinds or not. I didn't do it enough, I'll be honest, but it was all right. I mean, I still don't really get the whole takes time to load things and loadouts. Arc Raider has this too, except in this game, it's in reverse. Wow, fuck. But yeah, and then, I mean, this is the part that I'm gonna harp on. Extraction shooters and extraction games have what it feels like their own loot systems. And these loot systems, you can craft things and you can apply things to guns, make modifications. All of that is in depth and thorough, and they need to make sure that it all works. But it is a part of these games that I dislike a little bit because I have to fucking learn it, and to do that for multiple extraction shooters kind of becomes a pain in the ass. It was enough with Arc Raiders where I had to figure out what plastic parts do versus metal parts versus electrical parts, and it sort of starts to come together, but I really just don't want to do that again. And I'd say that's my issue with more and more extraction shooters is just like how many times do I have to learn a full another system, especially, and this is a part that does come at the detriment from this art style, the what do you call the fucking thing, the whatever you call the menu that you use to navigate and make adjustments to your character. That is gorgeous, it's beautiful, but the problem is it is a lot to look at, and they do a semi decent enough job, but explanations with what you need and what is what you're looking for, I was finding to be pretty difficult. I did not play the game enough to really be able to say too much on that though, but I would say it's just a harp that I have towards extraction shooters is just these entire like looting currency crafting systems that, I mean, it feels like old Minecraft to me, where I have to go look up a video to figure out exactly what I need, even though it'll show it, but how do I get what I'm looking for from other things? Oh, you have to go break this, and you can break it into two of the thing that you're looking for, but you have to figure out what that is, and you have to go check on everything, on every single thing that you can scrap. So it's just kind of a harp I have towards a Marathon. But finishing thoughts with Marathon, I don't know if I'm gonna buy it. I really think it's a pretty looking game. I did like looking at it, and it has a world that looks interesting enough. And yes, it is from the creators of Destiny. They can do lore. Now, would I say that lore in Destiny is perfect? No. but it's not a Scott Cawthon FNAF theory. Okay, it's interesting and it's intriguing, and it uses some science fiction concepts. Did I really understand the story through the full on animation, not animation, but cinematic that was at the beginning? No, but it did enough to kind of hint at it. There's a fucking satellite, I think, called the Marathon, but that is just sort of, I guess, something that I do enjoy about what Bungie can do is they can put together an art style. They can put together half decent gameplay. Now, how they handle the lore is up to them, but it does end up being pretty decent. And then the rest, you just hope that they don't fuck up. And that's something I'm hoping with Marathon. If it does gain a lot of traction enough to, compete with art creators, maybe I'll get it. But I mean, I'm looking at a game that I haven't paid enough attention to, and I frankly don't feel like I have the willpower to go learn another extraction shooter, and that's just a harp on the genre. But let me know if you guys do feel that way towards sort of extraction shooters in general, and maybe what you guys' thoughts are on this new game. And feel free to like if you did like the video, and subscribe. I will be trying to cover more and more of this. I'm sort of trying to figure out what I'm doing with this channel right now. I am working on a Cuphead review that will potentially come out soon. It's very simple. It's nothing too in-depth. We're not going to be cracking over, maybe 20 minutes. But I kind of want to just get on here, talk about something, and the Cuphead review is just there to talk about something that I kind of care about.